Blottr is a website that enables anyone to capture, report, collaborate and consume news as it's happening around them. Our priorities building this business are absolutely to enable people to capture and upload content, to really put the value around the collaboration side of journalism, and to also make sure that we're delivering a really fun and exciting and engaging news agenda for our consumers. It goes back to 9/11. I was amazed that it took CNN nearly 8 minutes to get onto the scene and report the first coverage of the atrocities that day. Yet there were tons of people at the scene capturing footage with no outlet at all. And it just got me thinking there's got to be a better way of people being able to report and consume news. And I'm absolutely passionate about enabling people to be able to capture and report and consume news from the scene of an event as it happens, as it unfolds, and then other people to be able to develop that story over the full course of the news event. I just think that that's a great way of being able to consume news. We've got quite a few differentiators. The first one is that it's our collaborative approach to journalism. We passionately believe that having 10, 20 or 30 people contributing towards one story is way better than having one person and a single source contributing to that story. We also firmly believe that having news originated at the scene differentiates us, because as I previously spoke about, it takes news organisations quite a bit of time to actually get to the scene of an event, where we enable anybody at the scene witnessing that event to upload and report that story as it happens. I think a really big differentiator for us now, and this is more about timing for us, is that we will never charge people for their consumption of our news. Lots of news organisations are putting up paywalls, which I think is one of the worst things that's happened to publishing in decades. We will never charge people to consume news. In my opinion, the reason they haven't is the legalities of moving into a user-generated content space. It's just a black hole for a lot of these big news organisations that aren't familiar with this kind of environment. They're very used to being the conduit between the source of the story and actually reporting that story. And that in itself is another prohibitor, in that they have to make sure that that story is authenticated. They simply wouldn't want to put their name to something that wasn't 100% authenticated in their eyes. Yet we take a completely different view. If somebody's at the scene and they're reporting a story at the scene, we believe that that's accurate. We believe that that piece of a report is what they're witnessing. If it isn't 100% accurate, then somebody else will come along and they will verify it. They can authenticate it and they can update it. The collaboration side of what we're all about here is hugely powerful, and I think is one of the main reasons why we will be hugely disruptive to the incumbents in this marketplace. I think Twitter's great. I use it a lot, but it's 140 characters. You can't collaborate with other users, and it's not the instinctive place you go to when you're looking for news. If you don't want people to edit your posts, then this definitely isn't for you. We decided to focus on London initially so we could build a critical mass of content and users. We're based in London. London's a very cosmopolitan big city. Lots going on here, and we thought that would be the best base to start with. And we'll build out and broaden our reach over the next few months. But listen, anybody can update content and contribute towards content. In fact, last week we had a story from France in French, which I thought was fantastic. We've reached over the water already, which was really great news for us. Right now, we don't make money. That's not our strategy. Our strategy at the moment is to deliver a really compelling and engaging news agenda, and to build a really engaged audience. Over time, we will start to build in commercial opportunities, and we will start to monetize. But I think that most startups, what they think their commercial model will be, probably turns out that it isn't. And I firmly believe that the more we get to know and better understand our product and our users, with that will come some really good revenue opportunities, I believe. But we will never charge for the consumption of our news. It will always be free. Right now we're privately funded. We're a very lean business. Our emphasis is absolutely on tech, marketing and business development, and it will stay like that. I believe that the way that we're going to grow this business is by having a best-in-class technology product and platform, and the best people that we can possibly employ around business development and marketing. I've run a few technology businesses and startups over the last 10 years, predominantly in the local search and business information space. I've also had my fair share of failure as well as success, so I understand what it takes to fail, which I think is way more important than thinking you know what it takes to succeed. We want to shift the power of journalism back to the people, who are often best placed to report news that's happening around them. And we're going to continually probe to try and find better ways of delivering a more engaged audience, a better news agenda, and really strive to instinctively get people to think about Blottr when they want to consume and report news. I'm not so worried about where we're going to be in 2 years. Experience tells me that wherever you think you're going to be in 2 years, you probably won't be. So we're just focused on what we're doing right now. I'm not so worried about an exit plan. I think if we do what we say we're going to do, we'll have a fantastic business.